How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about how the undefeated fighters have done in the Big 25 in the UFC. I said this in the end of my last video, I was going to be talking about this. So, let's get right into it. Undefeated fighters in 2025, for reference, okay, 28 undefeated fighters have competed so far in the UFC. I'm doing this video now because next week in Mexico City there is 0 undefeated fighters fighting, so I thought I'd make it right now. And this is another video I can make another 3 months down the line, talk about it a little bit more. But for reference, of the 28 fighters, they are currently 10-18. That's gross. That's a pretty gross margin. And I'm not going to be talking about the winners. All right, I'm going to show them right here. These are the winners of these are the undefeated winners. Nurilo Aliyev, I'm going to go from the far left. Nurilo Aliyev, Jacoby Smith, Hamdi Abdelwahab, Taliesin Teixeira, Rafael Esteban, and Abdul Mansur Abdul Malik. Fuck, I just butchered his name. You get what I'm saying. Mario Pinto, Haider Emil, Andre Lima, and Lone Kavanaugh, who just won this Saturday. These are the winners. We're not going to be talking about these guys. These guys, they're chill. They're good. I thought I would talk about the losers. We're going to go in chronological order from Magomed Gajiasulov to Mick Parkin. So, speak of the devil, let's start with Magomed Gajiasulov. Magomed Gajiasulov lost at UFC Vegas 101. He fought Bruno Lopez and lost. And I'm going to have Outlook on everybody. And I don't have one for Magomed because he got cut after losing to Bruno Lopez. Very premature, in my opinion. He only had 2 fights in the UFC, and then they just cut him. No, I'm not sure if he's, actually cut. That's just something that Roster Tracker said. And I thought it was funny. So, also, I don't really have one for him. He kind of just got bitched as the fight went on. He also had a close fight with Brennison Ribeiro at Saudi Arabia last year, which I didn't really like. And also, he couldn't finish Jose Daniel Medina, which I guess, that's not that bad because he's a tough guy, but he's supposed to be, a really good striker. He's alright. There was another guy that lost at UFC Vegas 101, Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi lost against Christian Rodriguez, and my outlook for him is he's aight. Alright, he definitely needs to work on the ability to mix in striking with his wrestling, because that was something he really struggled with identifying what to do against Christian Rodriguez, because sometimes he would be using a lot of Muay Thai skills, throwing a lot of body kicks, but then he would shoot a lot of lazy, unethical takedowns for no reason, which ended up leading to him getting pressed against the fence, kneed in the face, kneed in the body a whole bunch. But I do have some upside for him. He's young. I think Austin is 23 years old. And also he's training with Diego Lopez right now a shit ton. I'm pretty sure that he's being a stand-in for Volkanovski for some reason. I guess he's got a similar build, I guess. But Austin Bashi has been training with some top tier guys recently. So maybe he's got some upside. Alright. I do believe he's got decent Muay Thai skills, decent wrestling. We saw that on the Contender Series. He's got decent submission skills. He's just got to work on being able to mix those in together. Also, he's young, so he'll figure it out. Let's move to the most prominent event with undefeated fighters losing. UFC 311. Let's start with Clayton Carpenter. Opened up the card against number 11 Tagir Ulanbekov. My outlook for him is he lost in a competitive fight with a damn near top 10 opponent. His grappling looked okay. His grappling looked only okay because that's what he mostly struggled with, was being held down. And his striking was pretty sweet. He was actually catching Tagir with some solid low kicks, some solid body kicks, and head kicks as well. His boxing looked alright. He's young, 28 years old, and also he was really inactive prior to that. He had one fight prior to that with what's the dude's name? He was a 17-1 guy, kind of flabby. I can't think of his name. He's a Brazilian kid. Can't think of his name, but he fought him, finished him a couple months prior. But prior to that, he had a 1.5 or 2 year layoff for no reason. Well, he was injured, but it was weird. Give Clayton some time. Had a competitive decision with Tagir Ulanbekov. He'll be fine. He's young as well. Cool. The next one is Rinya Nakimura. He lost to Muin Golfarov. My outlook for him is Rinya might not be the guy that we thought he was. Now, I know some people weren't as high on Rinya Nakamura as some others. Like, I was pretty high on him. He was in my prospects video at bantamweight along with another guy that's coming up, sadly. Rinya was like an Olympic-level wrestler in Japan. His wrestling looked pretty bad against Muin Golfarov, and his striking looked really, really bad. He got dropped like 3 times, I think. Rinya might not just be the guy that we thought he was. He's not active as well. He's kind of just like a one-a-year kind of guy, which is not really helping out. So he's got a lot of stuff to work on if he really wants to get back to that level that we really thought he was. The performance against Muin Golfarov was just really disappointing, honestly. So, yeah. Let's move to probably the most prominent figure or figures in this video, these next 2 guys. Peyton Talbot. Ah, man, it sucks seeing him on a video like this. He lost to Raoni Barcelos. Now, I have in my outlook too big of a moment for him. Featured prelim of Los Angeles 311, one of the biggest pay-per-views probably of the year it's going to be. He lost a lot of aura, though, and his hair. Grow the fro back, dude. Come on. The big issue with him was his takedown defense. It was really bad. I think he got taken down on almost every opportunity that Raoni Barcelos had. And his striking, I have his striking looked aight, because there were moments where Raoni was outstriking him. And I don't really like that. I get that was mostly due to Raoni getting the takedowns early and Peyton kind of becoming tired very early in the fight. But he does need to work on his takedown defense. Criminally needs to work on. I know he said jiu-jitsu on Twitter. You need to work on your takedown defense. And also ability to get up. There were moments where he was trying to get to the fence to wall walk, but he kind of just got dragged back down. He needs to take some risk in moments. And I know that sometimes that can lead to bad moments, and he already got flattened out in times. But, yeah, he just needs to work on his defensive grappling, and I think he'll be fine. Because people forget, man, he still beat the shit out of Cameron Simon and Giannis Gimuri. And what was the other guy? Was it Fernie Garcia? It wasn't Fernie Garcia. Who was it? It was some other jobber that he beat. But, yeah. It's whatever. And then probably the most popular person in this video, besides Peyton Talbot, probably actually more famous. If you have Peyton Talbot more famous than Umar Nurmagomedov, I don't know what's wrong with you. He lost to Merab Dvalishvili. Not even that bad of a look. He lost to the best bantamweight of all time. Okay, that is he's the bantamweight goat. I don't care what anyone says. And he had the closest fight with him out of anyone in a long time. I'm not gonna count the fucking Ricky Simone fight. All right, we're talking about modern Merab. Okay, he 50-44 Piotr 48-47 Sean O'Malley in more dominant fashion than what he did with Umar, by the way. And Umar fought a good fight, and it was still competitive. I'm still firm that the 3rd round was super close. And the 5th was close until he got hurt. Okay? Umar just needs to work on cardio. That's about it. Also, body language. That's another thing. Try not to look super tired. That's something Angela Hill tried to work on against Caitlin Souza. It didn't really work all that well, but if Umar can have that sense of like looking calm in moments, I think he could have won that fight, because that was what mostly lost him in the eyes of the judges, was he looked super tired and Umar was not pushing the pace and Merab was. That's literally what a lot of the judges like based the fight off of, which is kind of stupid, but shit happened. So yeah, Umar's just got to work on that. We move to UFC Saudi Arabia. The only undefeated fighter to lose on there was Shara Butin Magomedov. He lost to Michael Venom Page. I don't even really look at this fight all that much. For one, nobody at middleweight is going to fight like Michael, ever. If you find a person at middleweight that really, really fights like Michael Venom Page, the way he manages distance and the fighting style he has, throwing 30 strikes per round, but they're all like fucking lunging strikes, you can't find one, all right? There's nobody that fights like him that stands 15 feet away and can get in your distance in 0.2 seconds, all right? There's nobody that fights like that. It was a nightmare matchup. I picked him to win. I shouldn't have. Like, in hindsight, I should have really factored in the reach. But yeah, nobody fights like him at 185. Shar will be fine. They'll give him somebody to fight in Abu Dhabi in July. Or, I mean, if he wants to wait till October. There were some rumors that he retired. I don't believe those are true. If they are, then that sucks. But Shara, he'll be back. They'll probably give him like Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira that would actually be a badass fight, him versus Bruno Ferreira. That'd be sick. They need to do that, actually. But, yeah, do that. Let's move to 312, UFC 312, that is. The first one being Cody Steele, who lost to Rongju. This one's pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. This one is a pretty bad loss. I get Cody Steele's very early in his MMA career. Rongju's not that good, though. He is not that good of a fighter. And this really exposed Cody Steele's striking defense, his boxing defense. Looked really poor in this fight. He was getting hurt a lot by Rongju. I know Rongju, like, hits hard, and Cody Steele kind of got caught in the moment of trying to have, like, a super entertaining fight. You could tell he was like, oh, come on, guys. And then he got caught really hard in the first round, and then after that he had, like, no success. So, yeah. His striking defense needs a lot of work. Definitely, but yeah, I guess he'll be all right. I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, he had such a cool Contender Series performance where he was landing a lot of body shots, and then he didn't really use a lot of body shots against Rongju. He kind of was headhunting the whole time, and you see that he has, like, decent wrestling as well. He's got decent takedowns, and then he didn't shoot, like, a single takedown against Rongju. I think he shot one, and then he got stuffed, and he was like, I'm never shooting another takedown ever fucking again. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. Hold up. Let me take a sip of water. Let's move to the next undefeated fighter, Colby oh, no, not this. I went backwards. Colby Thickness. All right. Probably my favorite name of all time. He lost to Alexandre Topuria on like a week's notice. He's all right. Colby Thickness is okay. Still a competitive fight after round one. Like, rounds 2 and 3 were pretty close just due to Alexandre having low output. He's big for the division, Colby Thickness, very tall and rangy. Was landing some shots, just needs to work on something. I mean, I don't know how many, like, dominant wrestlers there are at 135, like, in the lower ends of the rankings that are going to be as strong and as, like, dynamic as Alexandre. I think he'll be fine. I think Colby will be fine. He'll beat some unranked fellas soon, I guess. Just give him some time. He's young as well. Let's move to the next 312 guy, or gal in this sense, Tatiana Suarez. She lost to Zhang Weili. Tatiana's cooked as long as Zhang Weili's there. Her wrestling looked fucking dreadful against Zhang Weili. She even got out-grappled and out-wrestled by Zhang. Her striking was fucking god-awful. And after that, I honestly don't know if she beats everybody else. Like, I think her and Yan Xiaonan and Verna Janjidoba are competitive matchups now after seeing that. Because her striking definitely looked like dog shit. And her wrestling didn't even look all that good. I get Zhang Weili is really, really good. But yeah, I have no idea how she became number one after beating Jessica Andrade. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she's, like, championship after Zhang Weili. Like, when Zhang leaves, I don't know if she's, like, the direct next champion anymore, which is something that I thought. Even if she did lose to Zhang Weili, I was like, oh, it's going to be at least competitive. It was not competitive at all. So, yeah. UFC Vegas 102 actually had no undefeated fighters lose, so we have to move to UFC Seattle, being Julius Walker. Week's notice against Alonzo Metafield. I put 5 days notice just to, like, hyperbolize it. I think it was like a week and a half, maybe like 10 days. Against a top 15 opponent, big for his division, light heavyweight. He's like 6'4", I believe, huge. Needs to work on his striking, cardio as well. I get that he took it on short notice. Also, just needs to, be able to take down his opponents, actually, because that was something that he was able to do on the regional scene. He'll be chill, I think. He's very big for the division. Just needs to get a full training camp for his next fight. And I think Julius Walker will be fine. Made it very competitive with Alonzo Metafield. Some people were trying to argue that he even was, like, able to win the fight, which I guess if you want to, like, dig deep into the aspects of damage, I guess, but it was like very close. Let's move to the next guy out in Seattle that lost. John Matsumoto, he lost to Rob Font. Very close fight against Rob Font. Short notice as well. Grappled very well with Rob Font, which we've seen like other fighters at bantamweight not be able to do. Kyler Phillips, Cody Garbrandt come to mind. And Rob cheated a fuck ton and also fought a dirty fucking fight. Fake glove touch John Matsumoto. John's also young as shit. I think John's 24 years old. Striking looked good. Wrestling looked very good. Looked very strong. Very good controlling aspects. Was striking decently well. Super young. Give him some time. Let him cook. He will be back in no time. John Matsumoto is very high on my prospect list now. Especially, even after losing to Rob Font. Being able to have a competitive fight with him after, you know, his recent stirrings of have competitive fights with, like, Brad Katona. And, you know, Dan Argueta. And he was supposed to fight Chris Gutierrez. So, very weird stylistic matchup change between those. But, yeah, John Matsumoto. We'll see what happens with him in his future. Let's move to UFC Vegas 103. Danny Barlow, I believe, is in it. Yeah. He lost to Sam Patterson. This is one of those ones where I have to just go, on. Coming off the Nikolay Veretennikov performance, I was definitely shaken on my value of him as an undefeated fighter. And then he got chinned by a primary grappler in Sam Patterson. Pretty bad as well. Pretty bad KO. And he just spammed left hooks and straights. He landed like one really solid one and then just started spamming him a bunch. Could possibly be cooked. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. He's physically very cool for welterweight. He's like 6'2", 80-inch reach. You know what I mean? Crazy athletic as well. If you hear about his like high school and collegiate background, he has crazy high jump records, crazy track records. He's super athletic, but he's gonna have to get in the lab, brother, and work on his technique and actual ability to use his right hand and set up the left hand better, and defense as well. That as well. Get a better haircut as well, you dickhead. Stop using the rat tail or the skullet or whatever. You're not Charles Johnson. You're not cool enough. But yeah, I'm not sure about Danny Barlow anymore. We'll have to see. We move to, what was it? Oh yeah, 313 Ray Saruya. He lost to Joshua Van, short notice. That's a common theme with a lot of these ones, is a lot of them got cooked on short notice. Couldn't grapple at all. Had like 2 takedowns that actually led to anything. It was like a arm drag, and then he had like a Thai judo throw or whatever. It was a judo throw, not Thai. What the fuck am I talking about? His striking looked really shitty in this fight, and that was something that I really feared, especially following the Carlos Hernandez fight where he had like 2 good moments of striking. Besides that, it was fuck all. He'll beat some jobbers. I imagine he'll co-main event an Apex card against Cody Durden in no time. He's young as well. Ray Saruya, I believe, is 22. He's actually younger than Joshua Van. Let him get some time to develop. You know, he had a competitive fight with Carlos Hernandez. Anyone that picked him to beat Joshua Van is stupid. He trains with some solid guys. I think he'll be fine. He just needs to work on his striking a lot. Same with Tetsuro Taira. Let's move to Vegas 104, which had a lot of guys that were undefeated. We start with a gal, Junice Duben. She lost to Carly Judice. I'm just going to read my outlook because I don't think I need to say anything more. Honestly, the worst fighter on the whole list. Got signed because of a fluky KO on Dana White's Contender Series and because she low-key fine. Besides that, she's actually fucking garbage. Cut her ass. Her striking looked dog shit. She got knocked out by a head kick. That's all I need to say. Josias Musasa, he lost to Carlos Vera. I'm just going to read my outlook again. I honestly don't know what to say. Bro got colded by Carlos Vera. Has some promise, but dude has to work on returning his hands. Genuinely keeps him lower than Jamal's thumbs up tats. Josias Musasa is like physically very cool for the division. As you can see, he's got like a shredded build. But he trains out of... where's he train at? Does he train out of the Congo? In Africa? I think he does. Which there's like nobody else there. I think Ange Lusa is the only other fighter out of there, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't train there. Josias he got caught with a spinning wheel kick and then a head kick by Carlos Vera. That's not good. He looked decent on the Contender Series. Like, he beat a Georgian guy, I'm pretty sure. Like, he looked all right. And then he just gets like, he has promise, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Because, like, he doesn't return his hands to his face at all. It's wild. It was insane. Looking back at the camera, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with your hands, dude? Fucking A. The next dude, another Dana White Contender Series guy, Dr. Nurgajai, lost to Brennison Habero. My outlook, stop touching your fucking face, fatty. He's aight. He got caught in a sub. He allowed it to happen, by the way. But he had some moments. He got dropped. He's kind of alright, I guess. Is he, though? I don't even know if he's that good. He might not be good. Honestly, he's not good. He has this tick where he touches his face a lot. It is genuinely so abhorrent that I'm, like, pissed watching his fights. Looking back on the Contender Series fight, I was like, damn, he does touch his face a lot. But in the fight, he was touching it literally every second. Every second, he was like, I gotta touch my eye. He's poking himself in the fucking eye every second, dude. Chill out. Also, he missed weight. Fat cunt. We move to the most recent addition since UFC London, Mick Parkin. Lost to Marcin Tybura. He looked okay, very close fight. A lot of people are screaming robbery. Has to work on being more aggressive and some head movement. Also get in shape, you fat oaf. I feel like Mick Parkin could get in shape. He trains with, like, Tom Aspinall and, like, other big heavyweights. Like, dude, it cannot be that hard to just, like, get in shape. Get it, like, he gassed out as well against Marcin Tybura. That was one of the reasons why he lost. Is because he slowed down. But, yeah. UFC in 2025, undefeated fighters especially, going back to the first slide. Not great. 10-18. I went over all losers so far. Like, here are the winners. I could talk about, I guess, a little bit. Most of these guys actually won by finish. Jacoby won by finish. Taliesin won by finish. Mansour Abdul Malik won by finish. Mario Pinto won by finish. Andre Lima won by finish as well. So it's kind of like a 50-50 ratio there. But yeah, losers, in my opinion, matter more because the winners, they're undefeated. They're expected to win. The losers, a lot of them were favorites. But yeah, so undefeated fighters. If there's undefeated fighters, watch out. There's a good chance that they're gonna fucking lose. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't know what it is. Actually, if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. But, yeah. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.